Hello everyone, welcome back to the table. Today we're going to take a look at Tank Duel, Enemy in the Crosshairs by GMT Games. I don't know how to pronounce Mike's last name, but this is by Mike. And I tell you, I just did a long unboxing where I took a look at all the components and talked about stuff. So if you just want to see what's in the box, then that's what this short unboxing is going to be. I'm going to try and keep this under 15 minutes. So first of all, the box is huge and it is super heavy. And you'll find out why here shortly. This is the back, so you've got all your components inside. 220 playing cards, 16 double-sided tank boards, 2.5 full-color counter sheets, a rules booklet, a playbook, 8 player aid cards, 1 solitaire advanced rules player aid card. And then there's an example of some of the artwork included. And this is a gorgeous looking game. So we'll go ahead and open it. Now, from the long unboxing, I already took a look at the cards in depth. So if you want to see what all the specific cards are, you can take a look and go to the end of the other unboxing. And we did. We just flipped through them and looked at all of them. Not like I zoomed in and read them to you because they're all slightly different. But we did look through the cards. And so when you open the box, you're going to get 4 decks of shrink wrap cards. So here was a deck. Here was another deck, battle cards. There was a third deck which had an assortment of cards as well, damage cards, battle cards, and I think it had like some scenario cards in here as well. And then there was one other deck of cards which had like some damage reference cards, some other play reference cards. Then it had like broken reminders or on fire reminders, and then again some more scenario cards. So you had four packs of cards. That gave you your 220. You then have a rule book. This rule book is about, well, overall it says it is 20 pages. You had a couple pages of the glossary, and then you had the rules started actually on page 3. So there's really around 18 pages of rules. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a very rules dense, and that's great. So that means you can read through this and probably start playing right away. That's what I'm going to be doing. So you got a rule book. You then had a really, really well done playbook. I took some time to go through this and show what's in it. But it does at the beginning has a really nice lengthy example of play. So after you read the rules, or as you read the rules, you could flip through here, do the tutorial, or probably if you're like me, just do the tutorial and then reference the rules as needed, because their tutorials usually do a really good job of explaining the mechanics. Then it had 6 scenarios, and the scenarios, let's see, what it was there. I think they had like some optional rules. It had advanced and optional rules, but then you go into the scenarios. There was 6 scenarios. There was a historical scenario, and then at the end of that historical scenario, you had the solitaire rules, and then that also had an example of play, so you could learn the solitaire system. Boom. So rule book, play aid book. Then this was the 8 player aid cards. Now you might be asking yourself, I speculated in the long video that you could have possibly a 4 versus 4 game, and then each player would have their own player aid card, which is why there's 8, but that's a speculation. But they do have a very nice summary of the sequence of play, and I have a feeling that this is one of those games where once you kind of get the game system down, you just need the reference, and then the game plays itself because the cards have a lot of the rules and instructions on them. So these look very good. Then you had the solitaire. You only get one because again, solitaire is 1 player, right? So this had a very nice solitaire robot play aid, which was kind of a fold out, so 4 pages to assist you with that. Then you had a half sheet of your counters. Then you had 2 full sheets of counters. Again, these are all administrative counters with very good artwork. Also, I popped a counter out. I just one at random came out, so they're punched very, very well, and they're connected at the corner. So if you're a corner clipper like I am, the perfect type of counters for that. If you ask, why do you clip corners? Mostly for me, it gives a standardized look to the counters, because sometimes when you punch the counters, the corners where they connect to the board or to other counters, they would get like a little tuft of cardboard. And so depending on the game that you're playing, that makes them sometimes hard to stack or lay next to each other on the mat board. And then I read somewhere on a Facebook post, it's kind of like giving your soldiers a haircut if you just clip all the little connection tufts. Plus, over time, those tufts start to kind of fray and separate apart, and that might lead towards the artwork on the counter peeling. I mean, there's several reasons why I do it, you know, and they all sounded like good reasons. Mostly it's just because I like the look of a clipped counter. Now, I do have, in case someone asks, I use the Oregon Laminator cutter. It's 2.5 millimeter. These are small counters, so the 2 probably would do better without rounding them too much, but I only have the 1 counter puncher cutter thing, so I'm just going to go with 2.5, and they'll still look fine. And then here was the weight of the game right here, is you got these, what did we say, 12? I don't remember what it said, but these are very sturdy cardstock, kind of bulletproof. And they're rather large, but it's got your tank picture, range for combat distances, data chart there for the gun pin, your armor values. So everything you need to, you know, run your one vehicle. And then I think I saw someone say if you play solitaire, I mean, you could probably run like a couple vehicles comfortably. But yeah, that's what these are. These are your vehicle charts, and they're double-sided, and they include several types of vehicles. So just a rundown. You have on this an IS-2, and what's cool is, as we flip through them quickly, you'll see that even though there might be a couple IS-2s, what's nice is they've got different artwork on some of them. So it's not just the same IS-2 picture. They have slightly different art, and I thought that was very clever. See, here's like a winter T-3485. Here's an SU-100. Here's another T-3485, kind of a greenish, Russian greenish color. Then you had a wintry SU-100 and another T-3485, but it's got a nice stripe on there, racing stripe. Then here's a KV-85, and then here's a T-3476 in winter garb. Then another KV-85 with somewhat-ish winterishy, and then another T-3476. Then a T-3476 M40 with a much smaller cannon on it. And then a T-3476 with the bigger barreled cannon on it. And again, you know, different artwork. And I just thought that was very cool. So that way, you know, if you got a couple folks playing, at least your tanks look a little different. Then another T-34. So lots of T-34s for the Soviet players, since that was our most numerous. Oh man, I just thought that would be great if we get Tank Duel the Americans. You can have a lot of different Shermans, British, have a Firefly. This is just the beginning, I think, of a very special system. There's some more T-3476s. Then you got some Germans. So here's a Panzer III, which I like their ambush camo scheme there. Then a Panther with some, looks like it's got Zimrit coating. I didn't even notice that at first when I did the long unboxing, but there's your Zimrit coating. So the artwork on these is very detailed. Very good. Another Panzer III, and then again another Winter Panther. Then a Panzerjäger Tiger, so this is your Ferdinand. And then another Panther with kind of the ambushy Zimrit coating as well. Another Ferdinand. Now those are the same art. They're not all different. I mean, you know, that would be a lot to expect, but there's a couple Ferdinands for you. A couple more Panther, well, one more there. Then we have the Tiger, so there's a Tiger. Then you got a Winter Panzer IV, and this had several Panzer IVs. There's another Tiger, another Panzer IV, then a Stug, then another Panzer IV, one more Stug, and a Panzer IV. So several different variants there of your German hardware and your Soviet hardware. And there you go. That's the contents of the box. So you got your tank data cards. You have 2.5 counter sheets. And I just punched out a couple counters. I did not mean to, but that means they're cut really well. They're not stuck horribly, so that's nice. So even if you don't trim the corners, I will say that, if you don't trim the counters, just of the couple of these that I have punched out by accident, they have very crisp corners. So they're not creating that tuft that I was talking about. So very, very good. Kudos. I thought I would mention that because I didn't want anyone to think then that their counters were poorly cut. They're actually cut really, really nice. So for me, in this game, cutting the corner then is probably purely going to be a cosmetic endeavor than a practical play endeavor. Put this one in here that popped out. So there you go. You got your 2.5 counter sheets. You have your 1 solitaire play aid. You have your 8 player aid cards. You have your 1 playbook. You have your 1 rules of playbook and a lid. Well, then there was the 4. I'm showing you these here, but I'm going to leave them out because I got to find a better way to store these. But then you've got your four decks of cards. Let me pull those out for the moment, and then boom, there's the cover. There it is. Awesome. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you watching the video. You know, if you have the game or have played it, go ahead and share your thoughts on it. I'm actually very excited to dig into this one. So if you have any recommendations or rules tips, go ahead and share them for everyone. And we'll see you later. Hopefully, in the next day or so, we'll be able to do a play. It really depends because it's busy over Christmas. So, you know, we might be a couple of days hiatus while we, you know, do the Christmas thing. And then I got to take time to read it. So we'll see when I can get this to the table. So I really appreciate your patience, and I will see you all later.